Hello and welcome to a new reading vlog. I do apologize for the backlight, but this is like the only angle I can film at right now because I'm about to start a reading sprint live show and I just didn't feel like moving my chair to move it back. So now instead you deal with this white block right behind my head. But today I'm going to be doing a 24-hour readathon with Katie is Reading, which I am so excited because, you know, we're besties, so we're going to be on a call all day and it's just going to be so fun. And like I said, we're starting out with a reading sprint, which is so exciting. I'm actually going to let the chat and the audience decide what I'm going to be reading first between The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Legendborn. Now, everyone knows about The Seven Husbands. Everyone knows, except for me. I know nothing about The Seven Husbands. Even the freaking owner of my restaurant knows about The Seven Husbands. And I have yet to be educated because I have literally not read this and it's been on my TBR for years. Ever since it came out and became popular the first round on Book Talk and BookTube. And yeah, I just need to read it. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. Shush, computer. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing and I'm just excited to read more from her. So this is one of the books I have planned for this 24-hour readathon. And then Legendborn is one that Katie said was like really good and is a debut fantasy novel. I don't really know much about it other than I think their powers are related to seasons, but other than that, I know very little. Yeah, the second book just came out recently, which I actually have bought, even though I haven't read the first one, so I should rectify that here. And then I also have Chain of Gold, which I actually checked out the audiobook on Libby, so when I go to the Full Cup, which everyone already knows that I'm going to the Full Cup. And if you're new here, hello, the Full Cup is my favorite coffee shop / bookstore. Why do all my electronics keep making noise while I'm trying to vlog? Yeah, I have the audiobook and I'm going to actually sit and draw a book map, which I'm very excited about. And I'm really excited about Chain of Gold because I freaking love Cassandra Clare books. They have yet to let me down. And I've heard many high praises about this book. And I'm just excited to finally know about the Last Hours trilogy. And the third book is coming out at the end of January. So I thought, what better time to finally read this than in January? Because I did try to read this back in 2020. It was on my TBR when it came out and I just never read the book. So now, you know, I'll be left on no cliffhangers. It'll be a fun time. But I'm going to probably start with either Seven Husbands or Legendborn. But like I said, I will let the chat decide. It's gonna be such a fun day. I am literally just gonna sit and read all day. I haven't been in a slump, knock on wood. And yesterday I sat and read for like 3.5 hours straight. And so I'm feeling very confident about today, about my ability to get through my TBR. Like, yes, this is a big TBR, but also I have nothing planned today except for drawing a little bit in my bullet journal because I really need to set up my new month. And I have kickboxing and jiu-jitsu later, which I'll try to get footage of. Just because I think it'd be really fun to include like some shit I do. But I'm still kind of new at that gym and it's kind of awkward just to like pull out my phone or pull out my camera. But I really want to record myself doing things because I haven't even seen myself do things. So that is the plan. I have like a few more minutes before the live starts, so I need to go call Katie because she stresses me out. She will schedule this live 2 minutes before we're supposed to go live and it just, she causes me much anguish and stress. So I'm gonna go get that situation rectified and yeah, I will, I guess, update you whenever the people have decided which book I'm starting with because I have no idea what they're gonna choose. Look at this. 3 minutes, 10 seconds before we're supposed to go live. And where is Katie? I literally probably have been getting gray hairs because of that child. Just saying. I'm gonna talk to my camera real quick, y'all. Pardon me. They picked Legendborn. Yay. Okay.
That's the update.
That's the update you get. They picked Legendborn.
Subscribe for more quality content.
This is the shit you signed up for. have like a place to set this because my computer's like on the edge of my bed and my half-eaten bagel. So
Alright, say hi, I got it.
say hi or bye, honestly, at this point.
Either one. Or just whatever you want to
We'll pretend it's the middle of the vlog or the middle of the live stream. The reading sprints are now over and I have been banished from Katie's FaceTime call because she was updating her vlog and she was talking with her hands a lot, which I do as well, but she had herself muted, so then I was just doing this as she was talking and she did not appreciate that. So instead I left my phone in the kitchen so she can just stare at my kitchen when she finishes updating her vlog. But I did want to speak about Legendborn. I literally... like, I knew I'd enjoy this book, but I had no idea, like, the plot or whatever. But the fact that it's inspired by, like, Arthurian legend just gets me because I freaking, you know me. You know I love that time period, and to see it inspired by that is really cool. Also, the representation's awesome, but goddamn does the racism piss me off. And I get that's the point, but, like, it just curdles my blood every time it's mentioned. I'm like... just kill them, and kill them, and kill them. You are in your own right, Miss Ma'am. Kill them. But we're getting a development of who Nick's character is and who Bree's character is. I don't know why I like blanked on her name. Her friendship with Alice right now is kind of up in arms because she's now part of like a secret society, and like keeping that a secret is kind of difficult when it's like a major thing happening and Alice doesn't really believe her, which really sucks because I have been through a situation, not like similar to this per se, but where I was going through something and I was changing as a person because I was going through something, and our main character, Bree, her mother died and she's been trying to cope with that grief. For me, it was a sense of like I lost my identity and I didn't know who I was anymore because like I dropped out of college, I quit all sports, and that was like my identity growing up. And so I really do connect with Bree's character in that way. And that's why the whole Alice situation is making me kind of mad, because I'm like, you should be there for your friend, like regardless. I don't know. Because when you've known someone for so many years, like you know who they are deep down as like a person in your core. And sometimes people go through shit, sometimes people make poor decisions, sometimes people do things that are out of the norm, but like deep down, especially when you've known someone for years, like you know who they are. So I really hope that their friendship isn't going to be destroyed, because I would really hate to see that happen because Alice and Bree have been so close. That's just kind of been in the background, but it's just something that I relate to, and yeah, it sucks. So I really hope that their friendship is revived because I think it's very important. Also, it's very interesting of how different people deal with grief differently. Bree's dad is handling grief differently than how Bree is, and it's just a very interesting book right now. I really like the magic system. I'm like a little confused still, but I'm all here for it. I'm on page 128, I do believe, chapter 15, and yeah, my plans are to go to the full cup. I found the audiobook on YouTube, so I'm gonna pop some earbuds in and listen to that while I work on my January bullet journal setup, because it is January 2nd and I have not sketched a single thing for that, so I want to work on that a little bit. I'm just excited to read more of this book. It is so good. I'm happy that I picked it up, and I will probably deviate from my TBR just a little bit and perhaps read Bloodmarked after this one, depending on how this book ends and how my thoughts are. But that was my thoughts for now. I'm going to head out to the full cup. Alright, I am back from the coffee shop, obviously, and I've made it to chapter 27 of Legendborn. They just had a scene where Bree kind of walked into someone else's memories. I don't really want to say more because I don't want to like spoil anything, but it's just fascinating to learn more about the history and the different types of people and magic users and how they use / abuse their powers and kind of what the original roots of the magic system was. I think that's really snazzy. I think this is probably going to be my first 5-star read of the year, but it depends on like the rest of the book really, because it's starting to slow down just a little bit and I was really enjoying the high action. I was listening to the audiobook while I was drawing, which you saw a little bit of, and I just like could not for the life of me get my attention span to focus on like drawing. I would start on one page, sketch out something, get bored, move on, outline another thing, get bored, and yeah, I just want to like sit here and read, so I think I'm going to do that and probably read until I have to go to kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, and then after, hopefully by then I'm finished this book, and then hopefully after kickboxing I can start one of my next books, because I was really ambitious in my reading plans and I don't know what's going on. It is currently 4 o'clock. Katie is still here with me. As you can see, she is still here with me.
Hello.
Did you want to update what your reading has been like?
I finished my novella that I was reading. It was very short, but one book down. And now, I'm reading Bloodmarked. 50 pages into it.
We kind of have a theme going here.
Holding your book?
I am holding my book. Oh yeah, you can't see me. Yay. My phone is dying.
Dying?
You're dying?
Aren't we all?
We all, every day is one step closer to death. I'm on page 424. I am literally so close to the end of this book and I'm in the middle of a really, really intense scene, but unfortunately I have to leave to go to, well, not unfortunately per se. Like, I'm excited for kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, but I really want to sit here and finish this book. I'm talking really fast because like I need to leave now, but I need to update the vlog because this is the last time you'll see me before I look crusty. I'm kidding, but I'm in a really, really intense scene right now with Nick's dad, and it is stressing me out. And the absolute racism and misogyny of these characters are just boiling my blood and making me very angry. So I'm going to go and punch some people with gloves on to release that anger that this book is making me feel. Like, I'm enjoying it, but the characters are just pissing me off. So, kind of intense situation to set the book down at, but I have to do what I have to do, which is leave. I'm home from kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, and that wiped me out. I literally have never been like that exhausted during practice. I hope you enjoyed my mediocre kickboxing skills. I did not film anything in jiu-jitsu because my dignity will not allow it, because that was only like my 3rd practice. Then I came home, showered, obviously, and I finished Legendborn. I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5. It's not quite a 5-star read, unfortunately, especially now that I have 5-star reads such as The Name of the Wind and The Poppy War to compare 5-star reads to. I think there were, in terms of world building, some of it was like a little messy and a little bit too much telling and lots of info dumping that I wasn't quite able to wrap my head completely around, but it's also very heavily inspired by Arthurian legend, which I do love, but I'm not super well versed in. I know like very basic Arthurian legend situations, and so I wasn't able to understand some of the references fully because I feel like they weren't fully explained, and the authors somewhat assumed that you might know a little bit more than you did, but that didn't quite put me off from the book. Like I said, I still gave it a 4.5. It's very interesting though, because one of the main facets of this character, Bree, is that she is grieving about her mother. And I have never dealt with grief myself about losing someone close to me. I have yet to go through that, and I know it is inevitable, and it's something I do dread and fear. And so when they were discussing her mother's death, it did hurt. Like, I love my mom and I have such a good connection with my family, and to think of anything bad happening to them, especially while I'm still at a young age, just like freaks me out. I try not to think about it, but when I'm faced with reading books such as these and it's discussing mothers and death in the same vein, yeah, it just stresses me out. But I think how it was handled was very well. In fact, the author in her notes at the end mentioned that Bree's character and how she handled grief and the symptoms that she had were based on her own experiences. So I feel very honored that Tracy Deonn was vulnerable enough with imbuing her own personality into Bree and her own experiences. I think that's a really like raw thing for an author to do, and I think that was very big of her. And I think that's what made Legendborn so good, is that the characters felt so authentic, and you could really tell that each character had their own personality, their own backstories, their own history, and it was just handled very well. So kudos as a debut novel for sure. I think the world building was the roughest part, but in terms of characters, very solid. The romance was cute. It wasn't exactly the forefront of the story, so I would consider this more of a fantasy series than a fantasy romance, which I like because I like good fantasy stories that also have romance, but not like they aren't necessarily the forefront. So it didn't feel like the romance was kind of taking over the plot. And yes, some decisions that characters made were influenced by relations, but for the most part, the plot was driven by Bree's need for justice and not necessarily revenge, but just wanting to know what happened to her mother truly. The ending was very stressful, and the reveal at the end was very shocking. I did not see that coming, but I think it's a really, really good plot twist to lead into Bloodmarked. I think that there's a lot of potential for the sequel, and I hope that Tracy Deonn doesn't fall into the typical trap that authors fall into when they have a very hyped first novel, which is the second book's always garbage. Like, there are very few trilogies, I feel like, where the second book is like good. Typically it goes downhill because your expectations are set so high after the first one. But I'm done with the Legendborn series right now. I debated picking up Bloodmarked, but I decided that I just kind of need a break from fantasy right now. So instead I'm going to pick up The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, just because this is the shorter of the two other books left on my TBR, which is Chain of Gold and Seven Husbands. It is currently 9:40, and so there isn't that much time left tonight for the readathon. I'm gonna try to stay up a little bit late. I don't want to do like a 4 a.m. type late, but maybe like a 2 a.m. and then wake up like at 9 to have an extra hour of reading in the morning. I would love to finish this book and then start Chain of Gold at least a little bit, because the amount of times I've tried to start Chain of Gold in vlogs is simply ridiculous. And so hopefully I can fly through this. And Taylor Jenkins Reid has a really unique writing style that I appreciate and I enjoy, and so hopefully it'll be easy to just slip into this universe. Especially, I think taking a break from fantasy will be helpful, because I wouldn't want to dive straight into another fantasy book like back to back like this. So I think The Seven Husbands will be a good little divider before I jump back into fantasy. But I need to call Katie because I told her I would call her like 10 minutes ago. So let's do that. If she answers, we'll see. Yay! She answered!
Hi.
You want to say hello to the vlog too?
Hello, friends.
Besties! I am understanding why so many people like this book, and I think it comes from humanity's innate enjoyment out of drama, fictional or otherwise. Like, I love hearing about drama. I don't like being involved in drama, but like, tell me the juicy tea. Like, I want to know. I don't care if I don't know them. I want to be in the know, you know? And that's what this book is serving. First off, Taylor Jenkins Reid. What? Am I malfunctioning? The way the story is told is just so clean cut. I don't know how else to really describe it. It's a page turner. I will say it started out a little bit slow in the beginning. I was like, okay, where are we getting where's the plot gonna start happening? Because essentially the timelines are going back and forth. But my camera died before I was able to say any coherent thoughts. And I have no idea which train of thought I was following at the time, but just know I'm really enjoying this book. It's feeling very 5-star, which is, I know I said that with Legendborn, but this one, I mean, Legendborn was close to a 4.5. Also, I'm whispering because apparently I woke up my roommate because our walls are too thin. I am on page 223, so I accidentally kind of waited way too long to make an update, but this book is not going in any direction that I expected. Like, so many things are happening that it's insane, and I really, in a weird way, admire Evelyn's kind of character. Does she make very questionable decisions? Yes. But does it fit to what we as a society know of Hollywood actors? Yes. And it's just fascinating to read about it in a fictional sense. And I'm probably just going to sit here and binge the rest of it tonight. Even though I said I wasn't going to stay up super late, it is 1 a.m. and I don't see myself going to bed anytime soon because this is definitely a page turner, even though it was a little slow to get into. Once they finally set up the plot and Evelyn started telling her life story, I enjoy it. I'm having such a fun time reading it. Katie is still on call with me. She's just muted. I have rudely interrupted her vlog updates like 2 or 3 times, so we're chilling. It's a fun time. I just want to get back to reading, so I'm gonna do that. I just love this moody lighting. It's so fun. No! Oh, they're teasing such a line. Fuck. Katie left me. Come back. Katie, no. Did her phone die again? When she hung up on me the first time, was her phone dying? What's the excuse this time, Katie? I figured it did. It's just so funny to like answer the call and you be sideways. I don't know why you startled me.
Sorry.
You're good. You're startling everyone today, apparently.
Apparently so. I guess I'll just like stop talking.
Oh, wouldn't that be so good for the world?
You're right though, because this vlog I just made is 51 minutes and I'm only talking about one book.
How do you have that much to talk about when you can't even spoil the book?
No, like there's a lot going on.
Well, I felt things.
Is that the review?
Yeah, that's the update. Damn.
What are you gonna rate it?
5. Alright, I need to update my vlog. Well, the tears are fresh.
Yeah, I heard a lot of sniffling over there.
I have allergies. It's hay fever, okay?
Hay fever in January.
Do I maybe cry too easy? Yes. But I can't even say what made me cry because spoilers. it was partly the big plot twist at the end that everyone mentions, that I figured there was some form of connection, but that's not the connection that I thought. And then it was also about the situation that, how do I put this? The whole situation with Connor at the end really got me, because that broke my heart. Even thinking about it is making me tear up again. It just hurts to think about. I can't even say. Gosh, spoiler-free vlogs are so hard. Now I'm gonna go on Goodreads and read all the 1-star reviews because it's so gosh darn entertaining to do so. Hello. It is morning and I have about 1 hour left before 10 a.m., which is when like the readathon ends. And today is just not a day I want to exist. I am incredibly sore from practice yesterday and just barely functioning as a human being. But that is fine because I'm going to pick up Chain of Gold. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read this for the last hour and I'm very excited. I'm going to grab my annotating pencil case just in case I want to annotate and tab this book. This is like one of my most anticipated books of 2023. I know it's not like, it wasn't released in 2023, but like of the books on my TBR, I am the most excited about this book. At least in the current moment. We'll see how the rest of the year pans out. I've already read 2 amazing books and I feel like this one is going to be no different, but I'm just gonna get started because I don't have that much time left before the 24-hour period ends and I just want to hop into this book. I ended up reading only about 86 pages into Chain of Gold within the hour because it's just really slow for me to get into right now because there are an ungodly amount of characters they're trying to introduce all within like the first 100 pages, plus talking about past characters and who they're related to. So I'm trying to keep all the characters that they've introduced now in order, as well as like whose kids they are, and then remember who these people are from past books, and my brain is just like imploding. It was probably not a good idea to not get enough sleep and then try to like dive into this straight away. But typically Cassandra Clare's writing is easy for me to read, but I just really am struggling to get into this book. But most Cassandra Clare books are like that, where you have to get introduced to the characters and then get introduced to the main plot that's going to happen. Just haven't really got there yet. They didn't like attend a ball and drama ensued, but I was so busy just trying to remember all the characters that I was like, oh, that happened. Okay, wait, who was that? Okay, cool. Oh, what? Yeah, I know I'm gonna like it eventually. It just has not happened yet. I put tabs in and didn't tab a single thing, and I'm 86 pages in. But I'm done. The 24-hour period is officially over. And within that 24-hour period, I finished 2 out of my 3 books, and obviously I started my 3rd book, and I read 960 pages. So just under 1,000, which I think is really good. I gave Legendborn 4.5 stars and The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo 5 stars. I think it was a fun reading challenge and a fun reading day. Apparently yesterday I read for 8 hours, which I know during like the 24-hour period, like it's supposed to be 24 hours, but even the thought of reading for just 8 hours straight is literally insane to me. I consider this 24-hour challenge a success. One day I'll do like a proper one where I try to stay up extra late, but I've been so tired. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts about these books. I'm glad I finally read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Legendborn because this obviously has been hyped for a very long time and it's like kind of ridiculous that I hadn't read it until this point. And I do see why everyone likes it. I really enjoyed it, and I also see why people wouldn't like it. There aren't that many that I've heard of, at least on like Book Talk, BookTube situations. I speak as though I'm on Book Talk. Like I'm not. I just assume. But I read the 1-star Goodreads comments like I said I would yesterday, and they're all valid and I understand where they're coming from. But I almost liked how all the characters just sucked in terms of like how they acted and how they treated other people, because I don't think you're meant to like any of the characters or the romance between Evelyn and her main love interest. So I don't know, I liked it. It was juicy, it was scandalous. And as for Legendborn, I really enjoyed it, and I do want to dive more into Arthurian legend and learn a little bit more from more versed on her world and what it's based off of. But her characters are unmatched. Being able to read a book where the characters feel very authentic is just very refreshing, and I'm excited to continue on the series. I'll read Bloodmarked hopefully later this month. We'll see. And yeah, that's it. That's the readathon all done and complete. Let me know your thoughts if you've read these books, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to my lovely Patreons over on the Chaos X Cast Book Club. Y'all literally mean the world to me, and thanks to you for watching, and I really hope to see you in the next one. Toodles!